Hi, welcome to the Writing Fix-It Ticket Codes explanation. You'll find this sheet attached to some writing that will be coming home, and I wanted to make sure that I explained it enough so that students understood it, and if they couldn't explain it to you, that you'd have a reference. So you'll notice that each code number is at the top. It gives the oops, and then code 1 is I misspelled a word. So there's only one section in here for misspelled words. I will write the correct spelling 10 times each for each time I spelled the word wrong. And yes, that means if you wrote the same word wrong in your writing 8 times, you will have to spell it correctly 80 times. In order to train your brain to not spell it wrong again, that's how many times it takes. So what you would do here is on a separate piece of paper, you would write the code number. So if you spelled something wrong, you would write code number 1. You write the rule. I misspelled a word. So these are the rules up here. And then you would write each spelling word that you missed 10 times each. And there's an example down here. Okay. And then of course here's code 2. It's punctuation. In capital, lowercase letters, and punctuation rules. Contractions are down here, commas, end marks, that kind of thing. Code 3 is your sentence needs some love and tender care. It's a host of things, but I tried to pick out the most common errors 4th graders make. So you need a complete subject and predicate. When you're writing a sentence, it means you need a complete sentence, right? You need evidence with your sentence to support what you're saying, okay? I've given correct and incorrect examples, so it makes it easier when you're at home trying to do this on your own. And then I've shown our most popular quotation mark errors when trying to use quotations. 4th grade, we will be using these. We've already started practicing in class. And I give you some really good examples of where the commas go, where the beginning quotation marks go, where the end marks are, and the end quotation marks. Code number 4 is you need to tell me more. So you need to make your sentence more juicy. 4A would be I need more adjectives. 4B is I need adverbs. 4C is you need to show me, not just tell me, by using our sensory words, and that's words that represent or give us a good picture, can make us taste, smell, hear, touch, or see when we're reading the sentence. I've given you an example here. The man is old and afraid. That's a telling sentence. While it's a complete sentence, it's not very juicy. It doesn't give us a lot of information. Here's an example of a showing sentence. Limping across the bumpy path while tapping his cane with each step, comma, he swallowed hard as he shook with each long howl. Well, hopefully you could tell that this gentleman is either elderly or hurting. Something's wrong. He can't walk very well. And he was scared because he swallowed hard and he was shaking when he heard the howl. All right, let me give you an example paper here. And these are coming home this week. We're going to go over them in class today. So here's some examples of what you would see. The word is circled and I have the code 1. Well, I know that code 1 is spelling. So I would write, there's plenty of room here to take care of these. So writing on the bottom of your writing is perfectly okay as long as you have enough room to do it neatly. So I would write number 1, I misspelled, here's my oops, a word. Okay, there's my code. That's my explanation of what I did wrong. And I'm thinking that this word is supposed to be uncomfortable. So I would look it up if I needed to, or get my teachers or parents' help to spell it correctly. And once I know I've spelled it correctly, then I need to write it 9 more times. And yes, you need to write it 10 times. So let me put the dots as how I should see it on your paper. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is an actual student, so I'm not going to do the work for them. I'm just outlining how they would do it. So they would need to copy each word 10 times. For all of these words that are circled with the code 1, they would do the same thing. Okay. Also here, we've got a circle with a 2D. Well, I can look on my Fix-It ticket, and I know 2D needs a period at the end of a statement. Here's the example in my thinking map. So I would need to write number 2D. And the oops I made was I left out punctuation. And then I would rewrite my sentence. You do not need to rewrite the whole thing. In this case, I mean the whole paper, you need to rewrite your sentence. So this is a very long sentence. So this would need to, the whole thing would need to be rewritten. I thought the police car was uncomfortable, and try to rewrite your words correctly. So I would do your spelling first. But was interesting to see what it's like when people go to jail. Now notice I have fixed some mistakes here, but I'm still going to need to rewrite the sentence with the end punctuation because that's another oops code. So I want to make something very clear here. In order to retrain our brain to remember writing rules, it's not enough just to read the rule and to express it. You have to write it, and sometimes you have to write it more than once. So I always get this question: if I rewrote it already in one fix, do I have to rewrite it again? The answer is yes. So even though I did 2D here, I still, because I did the end punctuation, okay, I still misspelled some words. So I'm going to not only have to do uncomfortable, but I'm going to have to do interesting and write that 10 times. I'm not sure what that word is, so the student will have to be able to decide what that is. And I'm going to have to write that 10 times. I'm going to have to write this 10 times. And I'm going to have to write number 1, I misspelled a word for each word. So I would see number 1 4 times. I would see I misspelled a word written 4 times. And then the word that was misspelled written 10 times. Okay? Hopefully that clears that up. This paper is attached to your writing, your students' writing that you will be seeing, and they're expected to bring their corrections attached to their original writing, as well as the code sheets, okay? Because I will reuse these code sheets. Now, if you want to leave one at home, put it on the refrigerator so you always have it, that's fine too. I can always print more, and I hope that helped.